Hi, and welcome to the Spiritual Revolution podcast. I'm Jill Ogle. So, over the last sort of 4 or 5 years, there's been this kind of mass awakening happening, a great awakening with people understanding what's going on in the world, people diving down different rabbit holes, understanding their power as multidimensional beings, and really having a greater awareness and a greater level of consciousness. And I don't see that slowing down at all. In fact, I think what you'll see over the next 20 years or so, as Pluto's just left Capricorn, and look, I'm a huge astrology fan, but not that well read on it. But I do know that that Pluto has just left Capricorn and is heading into Aquarius. And so I've had the last 17 years of massive transformation, and now we're moving into a period of revolution. The last time Pluto was in Aquarius, and I didn't know this before I created this podcast. I only found this out yesterday, actually. But the last time Pluto was in Aquarius, we had the American Revolution, we had the French Revolution, Enlightenment became a thing. Immanuel Kant wrote a book called What is Enlightenment? And so there was this massive shift, and we're going to see that again. Absolutely, with Trump being back in office and the dream team that he has coming with him into the government over there, and so there's going to be a massive revolution happening, and I believe it's going to happen spiritually as well because I'm going to lead it. So, I think what we'll see over the next sort of couple of years alone is this real shift from, this positive thinking, feeling like you need to stay in the vortex or something bad's going to happen to you, that you've got to keep reaching for elevated emotions or you're not going to heal, from that into a way of authenticity and doing the deep transformational work, loving every part of you, loving yourself when you're sad as well as when you're happy. And really this shift into what I call the truth about spirituality, which is way beyond, this positive thinking kind of shtick that's been put to us over the years and has really become quite toxic. Everyone's out there setting boundaries, keeping all of the negative people away from them, and really trying to just be positive all the time, but no one can be, and boundaries aren't the way. And so what I end up seeing in my work, and for the time that I worked with Joe Dispenza and his leadership team, was people on this emotional roller coaster of highs and lows and spiritual bypassing and toxicity. And so we're going to move from that way of being to a way of understanding that everyone is coming to heal us and everyone is coming to be healed. So when you understand these concepts, and I'm going to go through it in more detail as we go through the episodes, but if you're triggered, that's your stuff to heal. You don't need to set a boundary. If you can heal that part of you, that interaction with that person changes. And instead of judging them for being a certain way and blaming them and pushing them away, you're going to actually be able to love them. And that's what's going to transform the world. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, it's okay. I'm going to talk about these concepts over and over and over again. A little bit about my story. I was sexually abused as a child. I attempted suicide when I was 13. I went through a mass awakening when my dad died in my 20s. I thought that I had awakened to help him, and I was trying to use positive thinking. I just watched The Secret. I'd watched it 1,000 times, maybe more. And I thought I was going to change his world and save him with mindset stuff. And don't get me wrong, I'm not anti-mindset in terms of, healing and these ideas that we heal with our mind. That's absolutely what I teach, but there's nuances to help you to actually be efficient with that and effective with that. And so if you stick around as I go through these episodes, I'm going to share more and more with you, and you'll start to understand what's actually going on. On that note, if you're not already in my Facebook group, please click on the link below this episode and join. It's a free community, and I am in there regularly posting videos, posting updates, posting content. I really am on a mission to transform this world because, I've had experiences. I've come out the other side, and I want to share that with you and help you. So, my dad died when I was in my late 20s. And then I dated a man in my mid 30s, had another level of awakening. And then about 5 years ago, my brother killed his girlfriend and then took his own life. And as traumatic as that experience was, what I got from that was unconditional love. I was able to really quickly fall into this space of unconditional love for my brother. And while I'm certainly not condoning any behaviors, I can also love him in that. And that was my latest awakening to a greater level of truth about spirituality, which I'm sharing with you in these episodes and in the work that I do with clients. So that's a little bit about my journey. So I tell you this because I want you to know that I've experienced things. I've had long bouts of depression. I've had, multiple episodes of suicidal ideation over the years. I attempted suicide when I was 13, and I've made it through the other side. So if you're listening to this podcast and you're struggling, please know that this is not the end for you, right? That's your sign that this is not the end for you. There's more to this life for you. And I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you with that. So like I said, the last time Pluto was in Aquarius, we had this massive revolution going on, the French Revolution, the American Revolution. And so now is the time for the spiritual revolution. It's time to break through, these false paradigms of positive thinking and, trying to live this one-sided life and be up all the time and be this, masked wearing version of yourself that is not you. Okay. So it's about coming back to who you truly are, getting in touch with your soul, becoming the most authentic version of you that's available, and really living from that space. Because how can anyone love you if they don't even know you? Okay. So, so the reason this podcast is different is because I'm choosing people who get it, who are on board with this message, who understand that spiritual bypassing, which is a term that was coined back in the 80s or 90s by John Wineland, who he was a Buddhist and he lived in a Buddhist community, and he noticed that people were using spiritual terms to avoid doing the deep transformational work. And that's still going on today. It's prolific. And even with, the advances with plant medicine, I used to be a massive advocate for plant medicine. Now, not so much. I think there are better ways to heal where you can remain governed, rather than, attempting to heal with a substance where it's unpredictable. But again, I'll come to that more as we go through. so people are using plant medicine to, they want to heal these deep parts of themselves, but it's also a form of escape. So if that's for you, that's totally cool. And I'm not saying that I'm not going to talk to someone about that during this podcast. And I'm certainly going to share my experiences, because I've had some amazing experiences over the years with plant medicine. And it's just, we're just moving away from that spiritual bypassing aspect, where we are too scared to look at the stuff that haunts us. We're too scared to go there. The gold is in the dark. Everything that you want in life is in the places that you don't want to look. Everything that you want in life is in the places that you don't want to look. Now, I said that again because it's so important for you to understand this concept. I tell this story a little bit, and I'm going to tell it again because it's just so relevant. So if you don't know about buffaloes and cows, during a storm, when a storm is coming, buffaloes and cows are two animals that they both know, they both can sense that a storm is coming. Now, the cow will notice a storm and he'll run away from the storm. So the cows run away from the storm and they end up spending more time in the storm because they're effectively being chased by the storm, right? And so they run and they run and they run until they're exhausted and they can't run anymore. And then they're stuck in the storm. They haven't been able to outrun it. They've been in it the whole time and now they're stuck in it. Whereas the buffalo turns and heads directly into the storm and runs straight towards the storm and through it. So it spends very little time in the storm and ends up on the other side of the storm really, really quickly. Why is this relevant? Because when you do the deep transformational work that I teach, both in my membership community and in my one-on-one sessions, we run directly towards the storm. We don't bypass. We don't try and run away from our stuff. We run directly towards it. We love it. We heal it. We integrate it, and it's done with. It's really, really simple. It might not necessarily be easy sometimes, but it's a very simple process. And it really fast tracks your healing like you wouldn't believe. Like I said, I've healed more in the last 5 years. I've 100x'd my healing in the last 5 years than I did in the previous 15. And that's available to you. That's available to you too. So you've heard a little bit about my story. The processes that I use, I'll talk more about these in the coming episodes. But really for now, I just want you to know that I am on a mission. I am on a mission and I can't be stopped for anything. I am hell-bent on disrupting the spiritual community, turning it upside down and really, really shaking loose the truth about spirituality, right? And giving you guys these answers, cutting through all the fluff, cutting through all the bullshit and getting to the stuff that gives you real results. And I've got all of those answers for you. So stick around. If you've been on this path for a little while, if you're new and you sort of, trying to find your feet, I'm going to save you years of struggle because I've done the hard work for you. Okay. So in upcoming episodes, I'm going to be talking to people from all walks of life. We're going to hear about their journeys, about their hero's journey, about what spiritual revolution means to them. We're going to hear about different modalities from astrologers, from human design experts, from tarot readers, from energy healers. And it's going to be this beautiful balance of spirituality and science and, with a real highlight on alchemy and transformation. So I love you guys already. I can already feel you tuning into this episode. And so thank you. Thank you for being here. And I'd love to hear from you. You know, would you love me to talk to someone in particular? Is there a topic that you'd love to hear about? You know, there's two things that I love more than anything in this world, and that's transformation and community. They're my two big things, and my dog, of course. But you know, I love building community, and I love seeing people transform. I welcome everyone with open arms. Everyone's welcome here. You don't have to agree with me. I absolutely love having a dialogue with people and challenging their way of thinking. I love my way of thinking being challenged. I think this is the way that we learn and we grow, right? So I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear from you what you think about this episode. I'd love to hear from you who you would love for me to have on. And, you know, are you keen? Are you keen for this revolution? Like, it just fires me up inside. Like, I'm so inspired to lead a spiritual revolution. I think it's so needed. And I think really, you know, I used to work for Joe Dispenza, and when I worked for him, I noticed there was a lot of people that were struggling in his work. There were so many people who struggled. It was a very small percentage of people that actually transformed. And so, you know, and the same with, you know, some of these other communities like the Abraham Hicks community. I see people holding on so tightly, trying to be positive and stay in the vortex. And believe me, there is a better way. There is another way that keeps you in alignment with the universe, that helps you transform, that helps you to get the life that you want, that helps you to heal your body from physical and emotional stress, and to do so without the struggle. So I'm here for it. This is a spiritual revolution. We're going to cut through all of the crap out there that doesn't work. We're going to show you the core of what does. And I hope you're here for it, because in the next couple of years alone, we are going to witness a massive shift in how people show up in the world and how this work shows up in the world. There's going to be a massive change from people trying to be one-sided, trying to be positive all the time, to a shift of loving themselves where they're at, loving themselves in their darkness, and actually transforming that, right? Because that's the way. You don't get to be a being of light by chasing the light. You get to be a being of light by transmuting the dark. And so that's what this is all about. Thank you so much for listening, watching, wherever you are. I really appreciate you. Like I said before, I can already feel you. I can already feel you tuning in. I can already feel you listening to this and thinking, hell yeah, I'm down for that. So thank you. I appreciate you. I love you. And stay tuned, because the next episode's coming out real quick.